Coming to you from the My Little Falls studio here in beautiful Little Falls, New York. It's your host, Scott Kinville, and another episode of Marty's Illegal Stick.
And welcome to episode 16 of Marty's Illegal Stick. We're recording on Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021. Normally we record on Wednesdays, but we got to jumble the schedule around a little bit for this week. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. I want to bring in my co-host at this time. First of all, I'm going to bring in Mr. Leo Kinville. How you doing, Dad?
Hey, how you doing, son?
Oh, not too
I'm ready
bad.
to go here. You got Barry back. You got Pierre coming in. That's going to be great.
This is going to be a great show. This really is. And our producer sitting right across from me, my buddy, Dave the Save Warner.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine, buddy.
All right.
I'm doing great. All right, and once again this week, the Emmy Award-winning Rich Masucci can't be with us. He's got one more week of his jumbled-up work schedule.
Okay.
He told me he'd be back next week. He still wants a raise, so I said, okay, well, I got up to zero. Sorry.
Yep.
But don't worry about it, because filling in, we are bringing in Mr. Barry Shelley. You remember Barry from the Rink of Dreams? He was on a couple weeks ago. And, but given this is going to be an Eastern Hockey League flavor type of show, I figured this guy would be the ideal co-host to bring in. So, Barry, how you doing?
Great, Scott. Pleased to be with you guys.
I really appreciate you doing this, and I hope you have a good time being the co-host this week instead of the interviewee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So without further ado, I want to bring in this week's guest because this is something we've been looking very forward to. When we started this podcast out, one of the things that we really wanted to do was get an original Clinton Comet on, and I am so pleased to be able to introduce today the one and the only Mr. Pierre Prevost from the Clinton Comets. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fine. I'm glad you guys, we got together and you finally got a hold of one of those old Clinton Comets because we're getting old and there's not too many of us left around the area.
Well, we're very thankful that you came on. We're looking forward to hearing some stories of the old Eastern Hockey League.
Well, I hope I can remember some of them.
So let's start off real simple. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Cornwall, Ontario in 1946.
All right.
And if anybody doesn't know where Cornwall is, it's just across from Messina, New York.
Okay.
I know where it is. That's where they train all their air traffic controllers.
That's correct.
Air Canada, yep.
There you go.
That's correct. Yeah, about 10 miles away from Cornwall.
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yes.
Did you play junior hockey up there or?
Well, I did play 2 years. I was 16 years old. I went out to play in Montreal, and one of my coaches was Cliff Fletcher and Claude Royale. I don't know if if you remember these guys. Cliff was a scout for the Montreal Canadiens, and Claude Royale was coaching the junior Canadiens. And that was about when I was 16 years old, and we didn't have a very good year that year, so we went through a lot of players, but it was like an expansion team that they took over, and from Valleyfield, Quebec, and then they Montreal bought that team. But the second year, I had two of the coaches from the old Maroons, the name was Wally Clune and Hervé Lalonde. And they had played for the old Montreal Maroons. I don't know if you remember.
Okay.
If you can go that far back.
No, they would have been the English-speaking team for Montreal, correct?
No.
Okay.
No,
or was that the Wanderers?
Montreal Maroons. There are a lot of French people there. Joliet there. These guys were playing for them. I'm going way back, and because Hervé Lalonde, he had just come back from Switzerland, and he was coaching hockey up there. And he was maybe about 45 at the time, and so was Wally Clune. But then one of my teammates was Guy Lapointe. I don't know if you remember him or not.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, and he was only 16 years old, and then the following year, he ended up playing with the junior Canadiens. But he was a good player at 16, and you can see why how good he was with the junior Canadiens and end up with the Montreal Canadiens.
Mm-hmm.
They went on to win several Stanley Cups with them too.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. And then my last 2 years, I ended up in Cornwall playing for the Cornwall Royals.
Okay.
In the Central Hockey League, and it was a very good league. The Central League. It was just a step below the OHL, which is in the Ontario Hockey League, and that was a better league. I mean, that's where all my teammates from the Comets played, like Bordy Smith and Dave Armstrong, and and all the other guys. It's and Howie Dietrich. They all played in the OHL.
Very, very cool.
Yes.
That's awesome. So you had mentioned Cliff Fletcher earlier. Now, is this the same Cliff Fletcher that went on to become general manager of the Calgary Flames?
That's his son, I think.
Okay.
That's his son. Yeah, Cliff is very old now. He's probably in the 80s. Cliff is. Okay. But Cliff was a general manager of. I'm trying to think who he was in the NHL. He was with the Canadiens for a while, and then he moved around. But like I said, he's probably about 80 years old now. Because if I'm 74, he was a lot older than I was. Maybe he's older than that. Maybe about 85, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you ended up with the Clinton Comets. So tell us how did the path to Clinton come about?
Well, that's a funny story because that year I got drafted by Minnesota North Star, and that was an expansion, the year of expansion, which opened up a lot of jobs, and everybody from the Eastern Hockey League and kind of went up. You know what I mean? And with the World Hockey also, that was the year that came out too with the NHL. They went up to 10 teams, I think, and then the World Hockey League opened up also. Correct. So that created a lot of jobs, and I was kind of surprised I ever got drafted because of my size, and that gave me a chance to play, and I didn't want to stay home and work, so I wanted to play hockey like kids want to do. You know what I mean? But I got kind of they must have seen something that was worth for me to be drafted. And when I went to the NHL camp, naturally, that was there's no way I could have made the team, but it was a great experience to go there. And one of our coach was John Muckler, and he just passed away not too long. Not too long ago, I just read about that. Yes, and but the affiliating team was Memphis, Tennessee, and again I didn't end up there because that was probably the Central League, and at the time they had the Central League, the American Hockey League, and the Western League. Okay. And then I ended up with Ren Blair was part of the Minnesota North Star, and naturally with Ed Stanley. And that's how I ended up with the Comets here.
That's really cool. Really cool.
Yes, yeah.
So I know Barry wants to ask you about one of your teammates.
Sure.
So Barry, go for it.
Pierre, I was in contact with one of your teammates today. When he was called up to the Comets after he played juniors, you were his very first roommate. Do you remember him?
Ted Tucker?
You bet. He wanted to say hi. He's on my Rink of Dreams, and he heard I was going to be on the show, and I mentioned you were going to be on. So, but yeah, he said he enjoyed having you as a roommate. You're a great guy. I just have to ask, since Leo's a goalie, I'm a goalie, so you know how crazy we are. How was it living with a goalie?
It was crazy.
Perfect answer. Perfect.
Yeah. But Teddy was my first really roommate because when I was in Montreal, I stayed at some people, and we didn't have I didn't have any other hockey player with me. And when I back home in Cornwall, I was at my parents' house. So Teddy became my first really roommate. And, we went along our own little business, and, we went out a couple nights a week, I guess. But, once, we were different, but we did a lot of things together when we stayed at home. You know what I mean? He was a really easy guy to get along with, Teddy, But coming from, where did he come from? Thetford Mines? Not Thetford Mines, Thunder Bay, right?
Thunder Bay.
Teddy's from?
Yeah.
Thunder Bay, yes. But Teddy was a good goalie. He really worked hard. And if I remember correctly, we were playing about 4 games a week and then practicing, And, our lives was mostly kind of hockey all the time, We didn't. It's not like today. Today the Comets, sometimes the teams only play 2 games a week.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Down to once a week now, I think.
Yeah. And when you weren't practicing or playing, you were on a bus. I'm assuming, correct?
Exactly. I mean, yeah. I mean, but we never stayed overnight. I mean, Stanley didn't want to pay the motels, and I can remember that. So he wanted to save the money, so we would go, overnight and then come back home. You know what I mean? So I remember that. The year we lost the 5 games. I don't think maybe the one time or 2 times we played, we stayed overnight. That's about it.
By the way, I just wanted to say too that if you think it was something living with a goalie, you should try being raised by one.
Now he knows that big stick's for.
Gotcha.
So your first year in Clinton was the year that you guys went 57-5-10. Is that correct?
That is correct. And when you think about it, at the time, I know I didn't think too much about it. I mean, you just you just go out there, like you say. There's so many games per week, but you just go out there and play the game and. When you're winning, it's a lot of fun. And but our coach Pat Kelly was very tough on us also. And on the weekends and when we had to play on a Sunday, we had curfews. When you think about it, and I don't think he liked to lose. And when we slacked off, I don't know when we slacked off, but but he was always on us as far as curfew. I mean, he really kept tabs on us. And then today the results. I mean, you could see, the standing away what we did too, it was unbelievable. I mean, when I think back today, what really went on with only 13 skaters and 1 goalie without a mask, and nobody really got hurt. We didn't have too many injuries that year, and that's a lot of hockey when you think about it. With only 4 defensemen.
You only had 4 defensemen.
That's all we had at the time. Nine forwards, 4 defensemen. And a lot of times, then Anderson would get penalties and fighting misconducts, and then you went down with 3 defensemen.
Sure.
That was a lot. Yeah. And you didn't think nothing of it in the day. You know what I'm saying? It's just that today when you look back, and then it was hard. You didn't realize that. And then if you get some injuries, not really injuries that you can miss a game, but you blocked a shot. It's not like today the equipment of the way these guys block shots. It's unbelievable. They just stand there and they just keep blocking shots.
Well,
but yeah. In our days, I mean, it hurt.
Sure did.
Well, nowadays they're wearing suits of armor compared to what you guys had back then.
Exactly. I mean, and the thing, you still had to play with if the puck hit your ankle, it hurt.
Oh.
I mean, but you still had to skate. I mean, you just couldn't take the day off, or a week off. I mean, there's no way you could do that. I mean, you just kind of, bite the bullet and just keep going, I guess. But it's hard to explain. I mean, it's what we were going through. Also, it's just that
today they get 2 days off. They break a nail.
Well,
maybe not that bad.
What are you saying, Dad?
Yeah. But I mean, we don't know the bruises they are getting to. I mean,
sure.
I'm sure they're getting a lot of bruises. The game is a lot faster and they hit harder, and the guys are bigger. Also, they're stronger. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And, it's a men's game now. Even those kids that come in, they're what 6'4", 6'5", and
that's just the goalies now.
Exactly. I mean, it's unbelievable the size of them, and when I look at them, and it's just, wow.
It's funny too, because I have arguments with my friends sometimes about comparing, especially with goalies, different eras, about who was better and all that. And I always kind of point out, I'm like, have you ever seen the size of goalies nowadays? Of course, they take up 75% of the net just by standing there,
Well, you remember the Gump Worsley? Remember Eddie Bauer?
He's the man. That's right.
Yeah, Terry Sawchuk in those days.
Yes.
They were all Jackman. They were small guys.
Speaking of Eddie Jackman, did you actually play with him or?
No, he was before my time.
Okay, I'm sorry, Barry. You had a question?
Yeah, talk about the fighting. A well-known player everyone knows, Dave the Hammer Schultz. He played in the league in 69-70 for Salem. Do you recall playing against him? And was he as feisty back then as he was when he went up to the Flyers?
Not really. No, I think we only played, I think, twice against him because we had that one year we traveled to Salem and then they traveled back here. We made that one trip, and he was very quiet. Plus, we had Anderson out there, so it's probably why he was so quiet.
I was
And
just
Ian
Yeah.
Anderson. Oh, my.
yeah. But again, in those days, I mean, it was really brutal when you watched the NHL with the Philadelphia Flyers, But I can still remember though when he played against the Montreal Canadiens and Larry Robinson kind of corked him. I don't
Beat him
know.
up bad.
Yeah, and I used to watch the Canadiens all the time, but the Schultz, and then they had a team that what the hell's his name? The name of a coach again?
Fred Sherrill?
Fred Sherrill.
Hero.
Yeah,
Fred.
he had those guys really together as a group. You know what I mean? And looking out for each other, and that was kind of the beginning of really of the bully times. And big Boston Bruins, and and those were the good days too. I mean. The bench brawl. I mean, that's okay for the big guys, but sometimes it's not us for the smaller guys.
No.
But
So
we didn't have too many. Yeah, we didn't have too many. I don't remember in our year that we played the first year that we didn't have too many brawls like that. I think because of Anderson. Anderson was a tough guy. He was one of the toughest guy I ever met.
Sure.
And I remember reading a story about him and John Ferguson. I don't know if you remember John Ferguson.
Oh, he's another tough guy. Yeah.
He was another
How about
tough guy.
Buffrey down there on Long Island Ducks?
Oh, John Brophy?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that John Brophy, not John Brophy. I mean, Ferguson said that he was the toughest guy that he ever met. Fought against is Henderson.
Yeah.
So,
Very cool.
yeah, so that was nice to hear that too, because and Andy never made pros. Except playing here. But he had a job to do, and he did it well.
So you were a defenseman, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And who was your normal partner?
I guess the coach, Pat Kelly.
Oh, wow. Wow,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Yeah. And Pat Kelly was a left-hand shot. So was I. And I've always liked to play the other side also. So it was not a problem for me. And, but, we had all kinds of ice time. Pat was a good hockey player too. He was a steady player, and,
What a heck of a guy to have for your partner, too, huh?
yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's, and I learned a lot from Pat. Pat was, like I say, he was a good coach and, he was a good player. And he had a tough job too. It's tough to play and coach at the same time. I don't know.
That's got to be difficult. That really does. Just being in that position, especially if you're, in a close game or whatever, and you want to be out on the ice, but you also know that your other players. I couldn't imagine being in that spot.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard to coach a team that doesn't lose.
Yeah.
Because when you lose games, you say, well, this is what we're doing wrong. We can work on these things. But it was very difficult, because when you win, it's hard to figure out what you're doing wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, Pat, I thought he had a tough job, and he, like I said earlier, he had a handle on all of us, believe me, And I was a young 20-year-old guy, and the other guys were older. I mean, and they'd been with Pat the year before, and I tell you, they respected him. And I was kind of. I look back now, and I says, I'm very, very impressed, with the kind of job that he has done. I've always talked good about Pat anyway, but and it was really, when you think about, it's hard to coach a team that loses.
Sure, absolutely. Because what do you go over in practice, right? Well, we got to work. Oh no, we don't have to work on that. Well, we got to work. No, we don't have to work on that.
Exactly, and it's not hard. Yeah, and it's not hard to stay in shape because you're always on the ice, and when you play the game, you're always on the ice anyway. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's just that. But anyway, so
I got a question for you from one of our listeners. Actually, his name's Kevin McKinney. He's always listening to our show. And I'd actually mentioned to him that you were going to be coming on, and he's like, okay, he goes, you got to do me a favor, you got to ask him. He wants to know, and I have no idea what this is about, so maybe you can shed some light, about Pat Kelly jumping barrels at the odd. You know anything about that?
Jumping barrels.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, okay, I said, I'll ask him. I says, I wish I could give you some more hints, but I'm sorry, I'm at a loss here on this one. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think he did that when I was there.
Okay.
Jumping barrels, because we never really practiced at the odd. We always practice in Clinton,
Sure, absolutely.
And I don't know if you remember this, but maybe Leo would remember that. that they had black ice in Utica too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
I don't know, you probably wouldn't remember that, but they had black ice there because they make the ice and then they would take it off during the week or whatever, and it was always maybe about a half an inch thick, and it's like on concrete. So and I don't know why they did not want a white ice. Maybe they didn't want to paint it because they were taking the ice in and out, I guess, But maybe it costs too much to do white paint.
It had to be hard to pick the puck up, though.
And it was hard for the goaltender. I'm saying exactly. Mm-hmm. Plus, that when the ice is not that very thick, I mean, it's dangerous too because, and we I don't know. I don't think we ever had any games canceled that year. But I heard the guys talk the years prior. They had games canceled because the ice was not available to play.
Sure,
but
wasn't thick enough, and it was too dark.
Exactly. I don't think it was ever thick enough. I remember correctly. Oh gosh! No.
I got to ask you one question, Pierre. You mentioned earlier about curfews.
Yes.
So does that mean you had to leave the Golden Teapot in early?
You got it. And he would call. You got it.
Remember it.
Oh yeah, he would call. He would call us. He would drive by to see if we were home. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can remember trying to catch you guys there a few times, but I had to work. By the time I got there, you must have had your curfew because nobody was there.
Yeah, and then when Patrick kind of checked up on us, and we were going out again. No, that didn't happen too much because you get tired. I mean, I was tired.
Absolutely.
And people were married too, and they had their wives, and we would leave the tavern, or I think it was 11 o'clock. Our curfew was, Mm-hmm. And 11 or 12 o'clock, I don't remember, but that was late enough anyway. Gosh.
Well, I know that was a big hangout of the Clinton Comets for years.
Yes, yeah. Alteri's was my hangout too. I've always liked Alteri's there.
Oh yeah,
do you remember? Yeah. And Warren Evans, he's still around. Warren Evans, he's every now and then we run into him. Remember Warren Evans?
Yes.
He used to own the Village Tavern.
There was a fella that had the best seat in the house at the Clinton Arena, and of course they always had the best hot dogs there too. But I wanted that seat, but that guy, I think he's still living.
Really?
Because I never got that seat.
You don't remember his name, do you, Leo?
No, I don't. Matter of fact, I should have went up and started talking to him just so I could find out his name so I can get a hold of his family and have him go somewhere.
Gosh. Another thing, too, that when you really think about it, when at the Clinton Arena, we never had any glass on the sides, right?
Yeah, right.
Can you imagine these people watching a game and they had their chin on the boards and everything else, and that puck was flying or something? I mean, and people would. I don't know if not that many people would get hurt. It seems like to me,
I don't remember that either. To tell you the truth.
No, maybe the third or fourth row that was more dangerous for them. But I think we were programmed because when I played in junior, we didn't have any glass or nothing, just in the end zone. Matter of fact, we didn't have any glass, just mesh when I played in junior.
That's right.
But I think we were programmed to shoot the pucks on the boards, not over the boards.
Exactly. I can remember because I had Dave Exley as a coach. He was with the Bruin organization years ago, and he always taught. Well, I was a goalie, but he always taught the guys. Well, every time they put it over the boards, you'd hear him.
Yeah,
because that was part of the program at the time.
Exactly. I mean, to keep the play going or whatever. And when you think about it, in those days, when you try to ice the puck, and today they use the glass and all that stuff to get the puck out of the zone, and it made it harder for us to really get the puck out of the zone also at times,
Oh, I can imagine.
When you think about it, I never thought about it before until I'm talking to you now, but these are the things that I guess it was not in our mind to kind of more or less throw the puck in the stands, whatever, to ice it or whatever. I don't know. It's really weird, the way the game has changed also,
Yes, it's changed a lot.
Oh, definitely. Gosh, but what else?
Well, I know Barry wants to ask you about the statue outside the Odd.
Okay, yes.
How did that come about? And I saw the video with you on YouTube today when they had the ribbon cutting. I know you probably had a lot of highlights in your career, and you won championships. How does this compare compared to winning the championship and so forth?
Well, and Robert mentioned that to us that he wanted to do that, and the four of us kind of looked at each other, and and we didn't know what to say, and then we started thinking about it weeks later, and he says, that is a good idea. It would be nice. I mean, we're still alive, our family, our kids, our fans can look at that, and Robert was very gung-ho, and he had everybody with the Utica Comets, the sponsor people, on board with that. And and I still think about it today, and I always have a picture, and I got the little mini thing on my table here at home, and I look at that all the time. That's where I eat, and I see it all every day. But it's really an honor to see that, and I'm very proud of it, and
It's
of
a
the
gorgeous
accomplishment
statue, too.
and of the accomplishment that we have done, and to be able to be recognized, it's very nice,
It is.
But I want to make one more comment too about that statue. And the more I think about it, the more I wish I had a couple more. But my point is that I don't remember this guy Al Bonaparte.
The name sounds familiar.
Okay, he was our announcer. He traveled with us on the bus, and he would announce the games to the people back home, on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also the home announcer, not the rink announcer, but the radio announcer.
Mm-hmm.
And the station was ZOW. And not too long ago, maybe about a year and a half ago, we found out that he was into a home, and I can't think of the name that where he was at. But we saw the daughter, and she told us, and then I got that little miniature statue, and I got the four of us, and we went down over there, and he was 96 years old.
Wow.
And
Very
he
nice.
had dementia, and he couldn't, at the beginning, he kind of recognized us, but not so. But then we started talking about hockey, and his mind was coming back very slowly. And
wow.
it was really amazing that how much, because we stayed about a couple hours just talking to him, but it was just so nice for him to really get that little miniature thing. And he passed away about maybe 4 or 5 months ago, but it was really because he spent 3 or 4 years with us, and just announcing the games. But we kind of forgot all about him all of a sudden until we saw the daughter, and then and then we did that for him, and it was very nice to be able to do that.
That's very, very nice.
It is nice. I mean, we really appreciate these people, what they did for us too. You know what I mean? And sometimes we forget, we do forget.
Sure,
It's
sure.
But anyway. So that was a good thing that the four of us did. That was Jack Kane, Bodie Smith, and Dave Armstrong did that.
That's a
I
wonderful
tell you,
thing.
but I'm a season ticket holder, and we were there the night you guys come out on the ice to get introduced. And boy, I tell you, that was fantastic to see you guys back on the ice again, and just to come out and say, wave and just be there. That was, to me, that was an honor to have you guys there.
Yeah. Well, Robert has done really wonder for us. I mean, he's we can go upstairs in his booth, and he's he's always after us to come to the games and join him. And Robert has treated us very good, and we really appreciate that. Luann has done that, and everybody with the Utica Comets have done very nice for us, and we really appreciate what they're doing, and bringing hockey back to a Utica area, and a lot of good fans around here. I mean, the young fans, and
I look at that banner every time I go to the game, boy.
Yeah.
That brings back a lot of memories.
And when how old are you, Leo? I should have even asked you.
Well,
But the point I'm trying to say, Leo,
I
is
was
that,
born in '48, so I'm 72.
All right.
I'm a couple
Okay,
years
so-
behind you.
Yeah, so another word is that you were kind of 18 years old when I first came here. More is what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah,
And-
yeah.
Yeah, And I meet some people there that probably today are about maybe in the 65, 66, you know.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
they were young kids that would go into the games. Their father took them to the games, or they were 10, 12. You know what I mean? And when you look at that, that says, you know, all the older people are not around, or they're, you know, they're probably in a home, or they're not able to go to the games, you know.
Right.
There's a few of them because I see them, you know. But today what you see is that just like people like yourself and, you know, the kids were like 10, 11 years old and, you know, that are still around, you know. But I'll tell you, it's nice to get to the yard. The yard looks so beautiful. I mean, they've done a beautiful job on that place. And it's
they
really
rescued it.
Scott plays at the Clinton Arena once in a while. And I get to go over there and watch him over there. And boy, to sit in that place again, it just brings back so many memories.
it's different without the chairs, though, huh?
Oh, I guess so. Where'd they go?
They're bolted down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here,
There's no more chair throwing.
I have one of them upstairs in the rink. I had that statue sitting on it, and I had the chair. I believe that chair was thrown at Leo during one of his games. The
Barry,
top
you're close.
half is
You're close,
broken
Barry.
off. But
You're close, but I was the one that threw the trick. No, but that's true. He does have one. I saw it myself.
Did you really? Oh, my God, yeah.
you should come up. I'm inviting you, Pierre, to come up. I think Scott and Leo will tell you that I think you'd love. I have so much stuff of your team up there, programs, and
Oh, it's an amazing setup.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to work something out because the four of us, right after Easter that week, we have the time away from our driving school bus, and we're thinking about maybe going out there for breakfast and maybe get together with you on that when you're not working, you know.
Absolutely.
And getting Leo involved and Barry involved, and I'm
boy,
sure
that'd
there's
be great.
some nice breakfast place up there too. You know what I mean? So we can.
Absolutely.
You know, but that's the week. Think about that. That's the week we have off, and then we can always
Write that
do
down, Scott.
something. You know,
I won't forget that. Don't you worry. That would be very, very. I would love that. That would be awesome.
yeah. Like I talked to you before. I mean, we can do something different with all four of us, and
Yes,
and
I would
get your dad involved too, and Barry, and it'd be
We can
great.
do like a roundtable discussion or something. That would be
Exactly.
wonderful.
Exactly.
Yes,
You know.
Super.
Yeah.
definitely.
So.
Well, listen, I don't want to keep you too much longer because I'm sure you got other things going on, but I just want to ask you one more question. So,
Yes.
when you went out on the road, give me one of your favorite cities or arenas to play in other than Clinton.
New Haven.
New Haven.
Oh,
the Blades?
Yes.
Any particular reason why?
Well, the crowd, the atmosphere. There always
Sure.
was our. They always came in second place. They were always our, you know, the
Biggest
toughest team to
rival,
play. Yeah, and they were always had some good games there, you know. But it was one of the toughest rink to play in. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the reason why I say that is because in my heyday, the goaltender never stopped the puck behind the net. First of all, second of all, the rink there was like oval. So it was not like there's no corners, right? So when they shot the puck, they went all the way around the, you know what I mean? So you spent a lot of time chasing at the beginning until you realize how to play in that rink, you know?
Because they had the advantage, yes.
You know, but again, it was all, the fans were great too. The fans, they really never kind of picked on us. That's how much rivalry it was, but they really never, I mean, they were never really that bad, you know, as far as with us, against us, you know? But there was a best rink I've always, and one of the best games also. We seem to always beat them to on this. We always played them on a Sunday night. It seems like, you know, and it was always a close game. And after, you know, it was New Haven was to me was the best place to play against.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you always beat them, of course, right?
Yeah. Well, it's just that you know, it was such a great game. Also, I mean, that was a good team too. You know,
Sure.
Johnstown Jet. There was a 9-hour bus ride. I mean, that was a tough, too tough. You know.
Now, did you have to play them right when you got there, or did you get to rest a little bit before you?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
we never spent. Yeah, we probably leave at 6 o'clock in the morning to 9-hour drive, and then get there maybe at 4 or 5 o'clock. I don't know, and then games at 7 o'clock.
Oof.
You know. So
What
it was tough.
about Greensboro, the Generals? Did you guys play down in Greensboro?
Well, I played there like in my third year when we did the Southern Swing.
Uh-huh.
But then again, those were tough trips too because they were so hot, so warm, and
yeah.
you know, it's you know, it's tough when you know. I remember playing Salem first time, and then we played Salem. That was on the way back home. We played Charlotte, Greensboro, and then we go to Jacksonville. Jacksonville was a hell of a ride, huh? From
Wow,
from
I guess
Charlotte.
I bet. Wow.
Yeah. And then you get to Nashville there too. That was another tough, long ride. You know what I mean? The Southern, they had some rough, you know, some rough trips. I would think, you know.
Oh, sure.
And then we had Salem on the way back. I remember that. I forgot who else was in that league. You know.
Man,
Pierre, talk about Johnstown. Do you remember a player? He's a friend of mine, Reggie Kent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he led the scoring. Well, number 2 in scoring and 69-70, 125 points in only 64 games.
Really? Yeah.
Wow.
He was a right-hand shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he can still shoot. He was just up last summer, and he's looking good.
No, Reggie Kent, he was a left-hand shot.
Mm-hmm.
Galen Head, I think was a right-hand shot.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that year? I think he played the same line as he did. Reggie Kent, right?
Yep.
Wow.
He was a tall guy too. Tall
guy. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Galen Head. I think he was the other one that was right hand, and they played on the same line. He was a good puck handler. Yes.
Yeah. And like you're real involved with the Utica hockey. He's had season tickets down in Johnstown ever since he's retired. He goes, well, now it's a junior league, but he still skates out with the players. And, you know, at his age, he looks like he's 20 years younger than what he really is.
Really. Yeah, he's keeping himself in good shape then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. You know, you just got to keep moving as you get older. You just can't, you know, you got to stay active. You know, you have to.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's and that's so much truth to that. There really is. Well, listen, Pierre, I really appreciate you coming on. This has been fantastic, and definitely want to take you up on that offer to get all 4 of you guys together.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us, and I'm glad that it worked out. I'm glad you ran into my wife there, Sandra, and I hope she treats you guys very well too.
She was fantastic. Yeah, it's funny. Of course, I didn't tell how this all came about because she did our physicals down at the fire station. I'm a fireman, and her company there, they came down, and I'm 46, so I have to have an EKG. She did my EKG.
Did she really? Yeah.
We got talking about
that's
hockey.
what she said. Yeah, that's when she saw the bruises, she says.
Yeah, exactly.
You were the one that was flatlined, right?
Oh, yeah.
I remember that guy.
Yeah, we had to get the defibrillator. That's okay.
Gosh.
But yeah, no, really. Well, tell her I said hi and thank you so much for setting this up, and thank you for coming on.
Hey, you're more than welcome. And again, thanks again, and don't be afraid anytime. And I'll make sure that when the time comes, and I'll text you and to get that going. And call those guys, okay?
I will.
And then I'll talk to Jack Kane. And when I talk to Jack Kane, I'll send you a text.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay.
All right.
So,
thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Pierre, from an old Comet fan, thank you so much for coming on today.
Hey, you're more than welcome. And Leo, it was nice talking to you. Hope I can meet you guys when we go down in April after Easter. And Barry, also thank you for. I hope to get together with you too.
Great.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Talk to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Pierre.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you. That was Pierre Prevost. That was awesome. That was really what a great guy too. You know,
absolutely.
Man, oh man, I tell you. And I tell you, I'm really looking forward to getting all 4 of those guys together, and that's going to be a real good time as well. So we're going to end this segment like we always do with breakaway trivia. Look at the look on your face. You got the camera on him, Dave?
I just whipped it over there. Here we go.
Oh, boy. This trivia stuff.
So this week's question is, and you might get this one.
I wrote it down.
Okay. How many
The answer or the question?
Yeah.
Writing the question down doesn't count, all right?
Yeah, this isn't Jeopardy. Okay. All right, so the question is, how many times did the Clinton Comets win the Walker Cup as EHL champions? The answer when we come back.
Need to find that gift for someone special? Visit Little Falls Presents at the Stone Mill and Canal Place. Stop by today to find unique artist work, t-shirts, coffee cups, gift towels, greeting cards, tote bags, koozies, and original oil paintings and prints. It's all about the art of the gift. For more information, visit mylittlefalls.com/shop or call 315-508-5310 for details.
And we're back with segment 2 of Marty's Illegal Stick. We're going to be looking at some news and notes from around the world of hockey. But first, we're going to get that answer to our breakaway trivia question. I'm going to ask it one more time, and then I'm going to ask you guys, see if you know the answer. So the question was, how many times did the Clinton Comets win the Walker Cup as Eastern Hockey League champions?
And I'll bet you Barry will get it right.
I'm sure Barry knows this. I'm going to go to you first.
I say 3.
Okay, Barry?
I lied. I already knew. I knew the answer, and it's even signed by Pierre too.
Oh my God!
And it's signed by 7 of the players from back in the 60s and 70s.
So, did the breakaway trivia question? Did you catch it or?
Yeah, I caught it, but I'm not going to say because I looked it up. So that's why I brought the book out.
He was doing his version of Google is to go get the original program.
Hey, Barry, did you talk to Dave before this? Because that's what Dave likes to do, too.
No. I knew Pierre was going to come on, and I brought the book down because it has all the statistics of every year the Comets were there. So
all right, because you would cut out first when I was talking. That's why I was like, wait, what? So, Dave, you want to take a stab at this without looking at your phone? Okay. Well, the answer is 5.
God, I was going to say 5.
Sure you were.
I was.
You know, he's got the answer right there, and he crossed it out.
I did, too. I thought about that before I gave it to you.
Oh, if I had looked at that, I'd have been a hero.
That's funny.
I am 0 for 14 or 15, I think it's whatever.
You're 0 for 15.
I figured I'd put one right in your wheelhouse, too.
Yeah, oh yeah, thank you very much, son.
Oh, Leo, I'm sorry. I just got your text that you just sent me about 4 minutes ago asking me how many. Sorry, I couldn't help you out.
Oh, my God. Look at your dad looking at his phone.
Yeah, all right.
Well, the Rangers are on, and they're ahead 1-0. So
Oh, my God.
Well, too bad I didn't ask that for the breakaway trivia question.
Yeah.
All right.
got it wrong.
Well, let's take a look at some news and notes from around the league, guys. So, congratulations to Patrick Kane on scoring his 400th NHL goal on February 28th. He did it in playing in 996 NHL games. That's impressive. So we're probably going to be talking about him again next week because he's going to hit 1,000 games played in the NHL next week. I got to tell you, guys, at first I couldn't stand Patrick Kane. I always thought he was, the arrogant, cocky, ungodly talented, no doubt about it. But I will say this, as he has got older and become more of a veteran presence with the Blackhawks, he's really matured into a team leader, and it's impressive. It really is.
Boy, I'm surprised to hear that because he used to badmouth him pretty good.
Well, you got to remember, too, that was when the big Blackhawks-Kings rivalry was going on, too. What do you think, Barry?
Oh, I don't tell you the truth. My expertise is minor leagues. I follow the minor leagues. Even today, that's all I do. But yeah, Kane, he's outstanding. And in today's game, it's a lot faster, and I think it suits him better games today than back in the 70s and 80s. Just like probably 90% of the players that are playing today, they wouldn't be able to.
Oh, no way.
Be doing the scoring and, what's the price be now, but what they did with the goalies, take away the pads and gloves, back then, the pads, Leo, about 3 feet across each pad?
Well, they
Now-
were heavy. They were heavier. I know that.
Oh, heavier, yeah.
All right, so moving right along. Happy anniversary to Mario Lemieux. On March 2nd, 1993, he returned to the Pittsburgh Penguins the day he received his last radiation treatment for Hodgkin's lymphoma. He played that night against the Philadelphia Flyers, and he scored a goal and an assist. I remember that, and that was incredibly impressive. And it's really too bad that he had to miss all that time, because the season that he was putting together for 92-93, he may very well have challenged Gretzky's record for most points in a season. But to be able to do that, to have your last radiation treatment and go play in an NHL game that night is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And, I mean, and not only that game was in Philadelphia, and they gave him a standing ovation.
Wow.
Despite being a member of the hated Pittsburgh Penguins, he still got the standing ovation when he came in. That was just
he deserved it.
It was a wonderful hockey moment. It really was. So another feel-good story here. Henrik Lundqvist is back on the ice for the first time since having open heart surgery in January. He says he still has months to go before making a full recovery, and that his playing future is uncertain. But, it was good to see him at least get the pads on and take a few shots. I really hope that he can at least get back to play one more season. I don't know how good it looks for him as far as, whether he's going to be able to do it, in the later stages of his career, of course. But, all the best. I mean, hopefully it all works out for him, and good to see him back.
Yeah. You're right. All the best to him. I don't know if I would really want him to come back on the ice or not, because, he went through an awful lot
Sure
there,
he
and
did.
I'd rather have him go out as a star. And
Right.
I want to remember Henry Lundqvist the way I remember him, especially being a Ranger fan. So
Right. Well, and I mean, his health is just absolutely paramount. That's,
absolutely.
I would like to see him back, but I doubt any hockey team management will take the chance, due to liability or,
Well, that's the other thing, too.
health issues. He may want to come back, but, I don't know if any team will,
You got to think of him first. That's all.
Right.
yeah.
All right, so local high school hockey is back in action. Upcoming games this weekend involving teams from the Valley include Clinton at RFA on Friday night and New Hartford at RFA, as well as Whitesboro at Clinton. Both of those games will be on Monday night. I got to tell you guys, it is really good to see things starting to come back around and see high school sports back, and it's just a wonderful thing. It really is. I don't, obviously they can't have fans in the building yet, but, just the fact that they're playing is great with me. And speaking of playing, Utica College men's hockey is back in action this Friday and Saturday with a home-and-home series against Elmira College. The Pioneers did get their game in last Saturday versus Chatham, which they won 3-0, but their Sunday game at Manhattanville was postponed. So far, the Pioneers have 3 of the top 4 scorers in UCHC, led by left wing Brett Everson with 3 goals and 3 assists in 3 games. Did you guys know that you can actually stream Utica Pioneers games at www.ucpioneers.com? You go to their schedule, and there's next to the games, there's a thing you can click on. It says watch, and I just learned this the other day, so I'm going to check this out this weekend and see if we can watch some Pioneers on.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Hey, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Your dad's checking his phone again. Must be another score.
Listen, breakaway trivia is over. Okay.
Rangers 2, Sabres 1. Anyway,
Man.
He's trying to see what the question is for next week.
Yeah.
especially if you had the answer there, I'm gonna check that baby out next week.
Yeah, you'll be studying that paper, right?
You wait to hear the Yahoo when I get that first one right.
Show 125, I think
Yeah,
is
right.
what it is.
You're distant. Put him in a box.
I'm in the box.
Yeah, I know,
Look
right?
at where I am.
The Utica Comets beat Rochester 7-2 last Friday night at the Adirondack Bank Center. They'll play again March 3rd at Rochester, which by the time this comes out will have been yesterday. And then they have a week off before playing the Amherst again at home on March 10th. Right now, guys, the Comets are in first place in the AHL North Division. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if you guys have got a chance to see the games on WPNY yet.
Absolutely.
That production is top-notch.
They are
It's outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
It really is, I'll tell you. And, you know, the best, I mean, we had Jason Shai on a few weeks back, and he's so into the games. He reminds me of Doc Emmerich. He really does. He gets right into it. And I'm going to tell you, they got Coach Heenan from the Pioneers doing the color commentary. And I'm going to tell you guys something seriously. If he decides he doesn't want to coach anymore, he has got a future in the broadcast booth because
Yeah, right here, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He brings it. You know,
We'll hire him for the same pay.
sure, yeah. So, well, the donuts are good, right, Barry?
Oh yeah, donuts. Yeah.
Make a white rose run, and we'll have
Jeez,
some donuts.
I might have to get some tomato pie on top of that, though. I don't know. There might be a hard bargain driven there.
Yeah.
No, it's great to see the Comets doing well, and like I said, that if you get a chance when they're home, they're on channel or on WPNY, whatever the channel is in your Spectrum area, watch it because it's fantastic. So, and by the way, I did want to circle back. Speaking of Rochester, Barry, you got a picture of Don Cherry up in the Rink of Dreams, don't you? From when he was with the
I have tons of him playing.
Yes.
Yep. When he coached Rochester, and he also played for them. And I have tons of both of them. Yeah, he was a fiery little player also.
Oh yes, he was.
He was a fiery. He didn't win too many fights, but he never backed down.
Are you trying to tell me Don Cherry was fiery? No way.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to close this segment out with our website of the week. Website of the week is brought to you by 315hockey.com. 315hockey.com is your news hub for all levels of hockey in Central New York. This week's website of the week is www.theehl.com. This is a website that is totally dedicated to the Eastern Hockey League. Barry, have you ever seen this?
Yes, I have.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, I get a lot of videos from that site. And they have a lot of the old Syracuse Blazers and even some Clinton Comets games on there.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I just discovered it the other night, and I think I spent like 2 hours on there.
Oh, yeah.
Just going through everything, all the old programs they have and stuff like that. It was kind of like a virtual Rink of Dreams.
There you go, Barry. They're stealing your thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite as good, though. Trust me.
Oh.
Nothing's going to beat the Rink of Dreams.
Oh, I loved having you guys down.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Well, the best part was when Leo saw that chair from the old Clinton Comets, he just kept picking it up, wanting it to throw it on the ice. He's like, oh, God, this brings back memories. And he's like, don't throw it, Leo, don't throw it.
I had to look at it twice. I couldn't believe it.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, I had to hold him back for a little while.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to do it for segment 2 of Marty's Illegal Stick. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, it's time to take a ride on the Zamboni Time Machine. We'll see you in a few.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of Little Falls, New York. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, and our events calendar. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling stories about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of local residents and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes Store or sign up for our weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
And we're back for the third and final segment of Marty's Illegal Stick. And once again, we're going to hop on that Zamboni Time Machine. It's always our fun, our weekly trip back in time.
Yeah.
Let's see what kind of crazy event we can come up with this time,
You
right?
come up with some wild stuff, let me tell you. You ready for this, Barry?
Oh. I'm just hanging on. I'm hanging on.
Oh, God.
Well, hang on tight because we're going back a long way this week. So this week, the Zamboni Time Machine takes us back to 1874 and the start of Madison Square Garden. Located at the intersection of Madison Avenue and 26th Street, it was an outdoor arena built by P.T. Barnum, and it was originally called Barnum's Monster Classical and Geological Hippodrome. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, jeez.
It became known as Madison Square Garden in May of 1879 after the owner of the New York Central Railroad, William Vanderbilt, bought it. Yeah, there we go. The building was taken down in 1889 and was replaced by an imposing indoor complex that included an 8,000-seat arena, a 1,500-seat concert hall, a 1,200-seat theater, the largest indoor swimming pool in the world at the time, and a beautiful rooftop flower garden. It was in this garden that the architect of the building, Stanford White, would meet his end. White had been having an affair with the wife of Harry Thaw, and on June 25th, 1906, Thaw took his revenge by shooting White dead in the rooftop garden. This complex would hold thousands of events, but never hockey. It had one heck of an event there.
Yeah, really? It's like, wow.
How you going to top that, right?
Yeah, man.
A brand new Madison Square Garden was built in 1925 and was located at 49th Street and 8th Avenue. The 18,000-seat arena was considered to be the ultimate indoor sports and entertainment complex in the world for its time. Although the New York Rangers are synonymous with the name Madison Square Garden, it would actually be the New York Americans who would be the first NHL team to play here, as the team had moved to New York from Hamilton, Ontario in 1925. Tex Rickard, the promoter who had built this garden, would bring the New York Rangers into the NHL in 1926 and gave his team much better scheduling options than the Americans, who would continue to play at the Garden until they folded in 1942. This MSG was a very busy place, as any day of the week, a sporting or entertainment event was being held. All things must come to an end, and in the case of this MSG, it was in 1968 when it was closed down. It was replaced by the current Madison Square Garden located on top of Penn Station at 33rd Street between 7th and 8th Avenues. The Rangers played their first game here on February 18, 1968, defeating the Philadelphia Flyers by a score of 3-1. Since then, this Madison Square Garden has become a part of American sports and entertainment culture, as it has held thousands of concerts and events, along with being the site of Ali vs. Frazier 1, the first WrestleMania, and the great one, Wayne Gretzky's last game, to name just a few of the memorable sporting events that have taken place here. The world's most famous arena is now the oldest operating arena in the NHL, and that, my friends, concludes our trip on the Zamboni Time Machine. Can you believe that? It's the oldest operating arena in the NHL.
That's
It's
wild.
I know it's a beautiful arena. Boy, since they redid it again, just 3 or 4 years ago?
2013, I think it was. It was the
Okay, well, longer
transformation or something they call it, the
My,
Garden.
what a beautiful, there's not a bad seat in the house.
No?
It's really, when we went down there, what was it, last year? Holy mackerel, I couldn't get over it.
Well, the only problem is you got to take a mortgage out to get a ticket, but, you know.
Well,
No, there's that.
mine was free. It was,
Yeah.
it was, yeah, I had a little, well, when they owe you, you know what I mean?
I understand. Okay.
And we got into the box. Oh, that was unbelievable.
Well,
Yeah. That is, I mean, especially be able to get box seats at Madison Square Garden.
Oh no! This was in the suite,
Well, sorry, well, yeah.
right next to the president, right next to John. Oh, good Lord! He announced the games for years.
John Davidson.
John Davidson.
Okay.
I
I was going to say,
He said the president. I'm like,
then he started saying John. I'm like, Kennedy? What are you
John?
talking about? I'm like,
I got it mixed up.
what are you getting at here?
he had a flashback.
Yeah.
Listen, he was stuck on the Zamboni Time Machine. He just kept doing a loop.
Yeah, really. He was back in the early 60s on that one.
Yeah, right? Well, I think that's going to about do it. Barry, you got anything you want to add?
No, I've been there 2 times. Once the Ranger game back in 76 or 75 against Boston, and the other time was to go and see the circus. And I have to say,
Circus.
yeah, I took my wife to see the circus at MSG, and I have to say, the Ranger and the Bruins, that was like a 3-ring circus with all the plates. It was like, hey, you just didn't have the elephants and the monkeys, you know.
Oh, jeez.
That had to have been one hell of a circus.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that
actually,
place is huge.
yeah, but don't the Rangers have to take like in a normal season, they have to take like a 10-game road trip
Yes,
every year
yes.
because of the circus, right?
Yeah.
They used to. I don't know if they still do, but
And they had
yes.
3 rings in the down on the ice level, and, you know, it was awesome.
Oh,
That's
I
quite
think
a
that was the
building.
final year the circus was there.
okay. Yeah, because they don't do that anymore, do
I don't
they?
think so.
No.
No. Oh.
FIDA won't allow them because
is that what it is? Okay.
yeah, they said that it's
Oh,
cruelty.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yep. I
All right.
remember that now.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well,
That could be your question next week for the trivia.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Leo
Listen,
Ronaldo.
you guys are not exchanging phone numbers.
Hey,
Okay.
Barry, if he sends you a copy of what's going to be on, give me a little text there. Let me know.
No problem. For a dozen donuts, I'll do anything.
Oh jeez.
Well, Barry, listen, thank you very much for being the guest co-host here. Barry Shelley from the Rink of Dreams. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Oh, it was great to be on.
All
Thanks.
right. And I just want to mention our Facebook and our Twitter feeds. It's at Marty Illegal Stick Hockey Podcast. You can find us on the web at www.mylittlefalls.com and at www.martysillegalstick.com. For Leo Kinville, for Dave Warner, I'm Scott Kinville. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.